Good morning everyone. Hope all of you are keeping sound and safe. Today we are going to learn about atom, its structure and the various other features for class 9th. So what is an atom if we start with? Atom, if you define an atom is the smallest particle of the element. Atom is the smallest particle of an element that takes part in a chemical reaction. Atom is the smallest particle of an element that takes part in a chemical reaction, which may or may not exist independently. This is the basic definition when you learn about an atom. So an atom is the smallest particle of an element that takes part in a chemical reaction. Okay, so when you study what is an atom, you should be knowing what is an atom looking like or what is an atom made up of. So an atom is divided, or this atom is made up of subatomic particles. Subatomic particles that are present in an atom are electrons, protons and neutrons. The three subatomic particles that are present in an atom are the electrons, protons and the neutrons. The three subatomic particles present in an atom are electrons, protons and neutrons. When you study about the characteristic properties of these subatomic particles, the electrons, protons and neutrons, we study it on the basis of, like if you talk about electron. Electron is a negatively charged particle. What is it? Electron is a negatively charged particle that is having a negative charge, a -1 charge, or you can also denote it with the help of E minus. So electrons are negatively charged particles which are present in an atom revolving around the nucleus of an atom in circular paths called the orbits. So electrons are the negatively charged particles having a charge of -1 and a mass in terms of atomic mass unit is 1/1840 AMU, or if you talk in terms of grams, it is 9.1. What is the mass for that? 9.1 into 10 raised to power -28 grams. This is in terms of grams. This is for the first subatomic particle, that is a negatively charged particle. Now the next particle, the subatomic particle that is present is the proton. Proton, as the name starts with P, you can remember protons are the positively charged particles having a charge of +1. Or it can be written as P plus 1. What is it? It's P plus 1. What is the charge over it? It is 1. And when you talk about the mass in terms of atomic mass unit, it is 1 AMU. And in terms of grams, it is 1.6. In terms of grams, it is 1, like electron had a mass of 9.1 into 10 raised to power -28. So protons have a mass of 1.6 raised to power -24 grams. Same way when you talk about the third subatomic particle that is present is neutrons. They are the neutral particle. They have no charge. They are the neutral particle denoted by N. And charge will be 0. And in terms of atomic mass unit will be 1 AMU. And in terms of grams it will be 10 raised to power -24 grams. So this is about the three subatomic particles that are present. That is atom further divided into electrons, the negatively charged particles, protons, the positively charged particles, and neutrons are the neutral particle. So there are the two structural parts of an atom. The two structural parts of an atom are, one is the cell the nucleus, one is the central part, that is the nucleus, and one is the part outside the nucleus, which can be called as the orbits. What is it called as the orbits? The first part is the structural part, if you take it as the empty space. The empty space is the orbits. The center of it is the nucleus. Now, what is present in the nucleus of an atom? The nucleus of an atom consists of, like we have studied, the 3 subatomic particles. So, where are these 3 subatomic particles placed in? So, the center, which is the nucleus, consists of the protons and the neutrons. The center, which is the nucleus, consists of the protons and neutrons. Collectively, these are called as the nucleons. Protons and neutrons collectively are called as nucleons. So, this is the nucleus of an atom. Now, outside the nucleus of an atom is the empty space. The empty space that is present outside the nucleus. So, this empty space that is present outside the nucleus is having the electrons that are present in a circular path or in a path that is called as the orbits. They revolve around the nucleus of an atom in path, and this path, the imaginary path, is called as the orbits. So, structurally, atom has 2 parts. One is the nucleus, which is the central part of an atom, and outside the nucleus are the orbits, the imaginary path where the electrons are present. So, protons, electrons and neutrons. Now, what is the further atomic number? What is called as the proton number? What is called as the electron number? What is called as the electrons? So, you can see the protons and the neutron number together. Now, the next is your atomic number. Atomic number is the number of positively charged particles present in the atom. Atomic number. If we consider, suppose, an element X with 2 alphabets A and Z. If I consider an atom or an atom of an element with 2 alphabets A and Z, this A, the first letter, Z being the last letter, this Z is considered to be the atomic number, or you can say the subscript that is present in an atom of an element is the characteristic number, that is the proton number or the positively charged particles present in an atom. This number signifies the mass number, the atomic mass. That is, the superscript is the atomic mass, the subscript is the atomic number. So, what is atomic number? Atomic number is the number of positively charged particles present. Positively charged particles present. Positively charged particles, which were positively charged particles? Protons. So, atomic number is the number of protons that are present. Mass number is the total number of protons and neutrons present in the nucleus of an atom. So, atomic number signifies the number of protons, number of positively charged particles present in an atom. And we know that an atom is electrically neutral. When is an atom electrically neutral? When the number of positive charge equal to the number of negative charge. Means number of protons equal to number of electrons. Then it can be called as a neutral. An atom being electrically neutral. So this number, atomic number, that is number of protons, could also be called as number of electrons. In a neutral atom, where the positively charged particles equal to the negatively charged particles. So, the atomic number of an element is equal to the protons that is present in the nucleus of an atom, is equal to the electrons that is present outside the nucleus of an atom, and the positive charge that is present in the nucleus of an atom. So if by this an element, an atom of an element, A is the mass number, Z is the atomic number. Suppose for example, let's take an example and understand it. I take an example of oxygen. This is a symbol for oxygen. Oxygen mass number is 16 and atomic number is 8. So when we talk about the number of protons, number of electrons and number of neutrons that are present, this number is proton number plus neutron number and this number is the proton number. So atomic number means number of protons. So how many protons are present here? 8 protons are present here. Since we know that an atom is electrically neutral, so number of positive charge balances the number of negative charge. So here the number of electrons also will be 8. Number of electrons will be 8. Now how many neutrons are present? So how will you calculate the neutron? This is proton and neutron together. So mass number minus atomic number will give you the neutron number. So atomic number is the number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom, which is also equal to the number of electrons or the positive charge present in the nucleus of an atom. Now how are these electrons distributed in the, now we talk about the next negatively charged particles, that is your electrons. Now how are these electrons distributed in an atom? These electrons are distributed, are present in shells, in orbits, the imaginary path that is present outside the nucleus. Now how are these electrons arranged? This arrangement of electrons in the shells or the distribution of electrons in the orbits is called as the electronic configuration. What is it called as? Electronic configuration. As we know that this is the nucleus of an atom and outside the nucleus of an atom are present the orbits, the imaginary path. Now here to understand the imaginary path, we are learning it on the basis of shells. The orbits can also be called as the shells, the energy levels, the shells or the orbits. So we have K, L, M, N and so on the shells that are present. So when we learn about nucleus, when we talk about nucleus, nucleus is the central part of an atom. And outside the nucleus are the shells that are present. And let's take for an example, the simplest example that we will take is for your helium. Helium, a rare gas having 4 and 2. This 2 is the atomic number, 4 is the mass number. So how am I going to arrange these 2 electrons? Because we know that proton number is equal to electron number. So 2 protons, 2 electrons and 2 neutrons present. How am I going to arrange these electrons? That is called electronic configuration. So to draw the atomic structure, first I will draw the nucleus having 2 protons and 2 neutrons. Now these are the shells that are present, the orbits that are present, and we know there are 2 electrons that are present. So these are the 2 electrons that are present will give its atomic structure. These electrons are arranged or are distributed on the basis of Bohr and Barry scheme, or which can be also called as a 2n square rule. Now 2n square rule is 2 is a multiple and this n is the number of shell. What is n? The number of shell. So suppose the first shell, how many electrons can be accommodated? So 2 into 1 square. How many electrons accommodated? Only 2 electrons are accommodated. If you take for the second shell, how many electrons? 2 into 2 square. That means 8 electrons can be accommodated. If you go for the third shell, then we will say 2 into 3 square. That means 18 electrons can be accommodated. But you have to keep it in mind that the outermost shell of an atom cannot accommodate more than 8 electrons. Once the 8 electrons are filled in, then it jumps to the next level and then distributes the electron. So the maximum capacity of M shell or of a shell is 8 electrons, because only 18 electrons. The maximum capacity is K, L and M. So maximum capacity is 18, but it can accommodate only 8 electrons, because once it takes in 8 electrons, it becomes stable, and after acquiring that stable figure, it does not let enter any other electron to be accommodated. So this is an exception to it. So we follow the rule as the first shell can accommodate 2 electrons, second shell can accommodate 8 electrons, the third shell can accommodate 8 electrons. Okay, so like for example, if you take magnesium, so magnesium, the symbol for magnesium is Mg, 24 and 12. If you do write the number of protons, number of electrons, number of neutrons, number of electrons to be distributed, the electronic configuration 2, 8 and 2. This is K shell, this is L shell and this is M shell. So here the last shell is having 2 electrons. This last shell, the first shell, the second shell and the third shell, whichever is the last shell, that shell, the outermost shell is called as the valence shell. What is it called as? The valence shell. And the electrons that are present in the valence shell are called as the valence electrons. What are these called as? Valence electrons. These electrons are revolving. Means we have just one moving particle, that is the electron. The other neutrons and protons are present in the nucleus. So these electrons which are present in the outermost shell can be lost or gained to attain a stable configuration. So to attain stable configuration, all the elements either they tend to lose or either they tend to gain electrons to attain stability. So what is a valence electron? The number of electrons that are present in the outermost shell of an atom is the valence electron. And what is the valence shell? The outermost shell of an atom is called as the valence shell. So the chemical property of an atom, of an element, depends on the number of their valence electrons. If the valence electron is 1, 2, that means these electrons can be lost to attain a stable figure in the last shell as 8. So this leads to the next concept of valency. The number of electrons lost, gained or shared by the outermost shell or by the valence shell of an atom of an element denotes its valency. The combining capacity of an atom of an element is its valency. So if it is having 1, 2 or 3 electrons in the outermost shell, then it is going to lose those 1, 2 or 3 electrons. So that outermost shell becomes the second shell and has a stable configuration. If it is having less number, that means 1 is there, it can very well give it to attain stability. 2, then it can very well give it. So these are termed as givers. So you can say electropositive elements. And if the outermost shell has 4, 5, 6 or 7 electrons, then they are going to gain electrons to attain stability. And these are considered to be electronegative elements, and these are the non-metals. So hope this concept of atomic number, the structure for an atom, electrons, protons and neutrons, arrangement of electrons in the shell and the valence electrons is clear to everyone. Thank you so much.